Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works to the children of man. Greetings, everyone. This is Dr. Gary, and thank you for giving me a few moments of your time to go on this learning journey. Today, we're going to be looking into the New Testament, 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 4 through 7, and we're going to look at 4 or 5 positives in the church at Corinth. And this is the Apostle Paul highlighting thankworthy items and dispositions and characteristics of the church. As we go through this, I want you to think about your church. What church do you go to? And can you list 5 things that are praiseworthy or thankworthy that you see in your church? So let's go through this. You know, a well-known principle of interpersonal communication skills says that whenever we need to confront or correct someone, we should begin by pointing out things that we appreciate about the individual. For expert communicators, this kind of approach flows naturally because they have a genuine concern for the person's well-being or the church's well-being, whichever the case may be. So let's look at these 5 things that Paul found as thankworthy about the church at Corinth. First of all, he mentions charis, the goodness and favor of God lavished on the Corinthians, even though they could never earn it or repay it. He saw the giftings and the goodness of God on that church. Secondly, the Corinthians were liberally endowed. Not only were they saved, but they also were endowed with eloquence and knowledge. They knew the gospel of Jesus Christ. They understood it clearly and could articulate it effectively. That's powerful. How about your church? Do you see this in your church? Thirdly, the Corinthians were securely established. Paul says the testimony concerning Christ was confirmed in you. The idea of confirmed here means established, made sure, authenticated, that the gospel was alive in that church. Fourthly, the Corinthians were spiritually gifted. Don't miss the "so that" at the beginning of this verse. That little connective refers to the result of the previous verse. As a result of the Corinthians' genuine saving faith, they did not lack any spiritual gifts. That must have been something to behold. Not a single gift was absent. And the positive tone of this section suggests that they had at times been exercising those gifts properly. Wow, that is quite the church, quite the testimony of thankfulness for what can be observed and known. And then lastly, number 5, the Corinthians were prophetically alert. As they exercised their spiritual gifts, Paul says they were also awaiting eagerly the revelation of our Lord Jesus Christ. They knew Christ's coming could occur at any moment, so they were engaged in an urgent ministry in light of that prophetic reality. Because eternity drew nearer every day, they lived in earnest anticipation of that moment when they would see his face. Can I just pause and say, if it was true way back in the 1st century, how much more so it is now in 2024. We are living clearly in days of prophecy, and that awakens in us a sense of urgency. Well, let me just pause right here and challenge you in this series on Thanksgiving. Stop and count 5 blessings that you see in your church where you attend. Give some real reflection on this. Go back and review these 5 items that Paul saw in the church at Corinth. Now, they weren't a perfect church, so don't let me mislead here. They certainly had their share of problems. But in order to make correction, it's always helpful in communication to accentuate the positive before you have to deal with the difficult moments. And Paul is doing this masterfully in First Corinthians. So, write out 5 blessings that you see in your church. It's so easy to criticize, but it takes a little bit of time for us to count our blessings in the church. Well, thank you for giving me a few moments of your time. This ends our Thanksgiving series, and on Sunday, just 2 days from now, we're going to begin a 29-day journey of the Christmas Advent tradition. There will be a daily shortcast that will center around the coming of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to sharing this. And if you would be so kind, would you share it also on your social platform so that others can go on this journey? Invite someone. I'm going to put out a few posts about this coming on our Facebook pages and other areas. And this begins on Sunday, day 1 of 29 days of the Advent. Well, until we can meet again, we bid you Godspeed. Bye for now.